Alright, hope everybody's having a good one. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator with Cookie Pirate. Today, flying the Diamond DA40. Haven't been in that plane in a little while. So we're going to fly it from Valdez, Alaska, straight west over to Merrill in Anchorage. It's going to be about a 46 minute flight going at 10,000 feet. Just over 100 miles. Climb aboard. Let's go flying. Yes! Oh, the ground is covered in snow again. Beginning of August and it's covered in snow. Oh, it gets me every time. Okay, alright, 2404, so it looks like there's pretty light wind. Whoa, look at that. And that terrain is definitely patched, but that's gorgeous, and I mean, it is crystal clear here. What an absolutely beautiful view. Look at the building here. Era, Alaska, and right on the control tower, welcome to Valdez. And, nice fire truck in front. Alright. We're back in the Diamond. Couple things to do. So let's check everything and make sure it's all off. So, throttle's idle. Fuel tank is normal. Trim is set to take off. Those are all good. Flaps are up. Switches are off. Electric master's off. These are off. That is off and guarded. Off. And up. All the lights are off, emergency switches off and guarded, and the ELT is armed. Circuit breakers are in. Alright. First thing we do, electric master switch comes on. And we just have to wait for the AHRs to align. We can go ahead and turn the strobe lights on. Engine master goes to on and guarded. Waiting for that to align. That comes on, the glow plugs come on, and then when it clears you're able to go ahead and crank the engine. So we'll clear the left and the right. Clear! Alright, engine is started. We can turn the avionics on. Let's grab the weather here. (240) 4 knots, yep, we looked at that. 10 miles of visibility, clear skies, 17 Celsius, 30.31. Wow. Alright, that is good. You can turn the nav lights or position lights on. Check full travel of the flaps. Down to half. Down to full. Check both sides. Bring them all the way up. And down to half for taxi, we'll leave them there. Next thing we'll go ahead and do... All our electrical systems are good. Not really worried about checking all of that because we know it's going to function because I have failures disabled. Eventually one day I'll maybe turn that on to where you might have something go wrong. make it interesting. But it should configure the autopilot here. We're going at 10. Now I sound like an air traffic controller. 10,000. Right there, even. FLC will set to, I believe, 88. That's what we normally do. There's 87, 88. VNav on. Nav on. Alright, and I think we are ready for taxi. Clear left, clear right. Just look at the mountains up there. And of course, Valdez is where they have the stall short takeoff and landing competition. Now we get to taxi out over this way. Oh, and cool, look at that. The Valdez, the name is actually painted on the ground. It shows up. Such a cool building, too. And it is a pretty nice, easy taxi out. Seems like the pavement's a little bit bumpy here. It is. Just look at the scenery out that way, though. Those are absolutely beautiful peaks. And I mean, there's not a cloud to be seen. That's absolutely gorgeous. And everything is still covered in snow. Alright. Oh, I forgot to turn the taxi light on. Whatever. Alright, there's the hold position for runway 24 here at Valdez. Quick run-up. The only thing we really have to do, or not even a run-up, it's just the before takeoff checklist. Heat on. There's no substantial drop in voltage or anything. Fuel pumps come on. Take off. Landing light on. Taxi light is already off because we didn't turn it on. And let's just zoom so I can see these panels a little bit better here. Fuel quantity is good. All our engine instruments look good. Alright, so our takeoff procedure. It's pretty easy. Basically what we're going to do is taxi out onto the runway, go full power. We'll rotate. See, VR 69 at full. We can probably get airborne at about 63, 65. Because we're fairly light. And then what we'll do is climb out about 80 until about 800 feet. And we'll engage the autopilot, turn on course, and climb at 88 knots. So we'll release the park and brake. Taxi out. Know the flight controls are operating and functioning properly. We are lined up on center line. Our airspeed is already alive. Let's go full power. And then we're airborne at 68 knots. Positive rate of climb, we're looking good. And bring the flaps up. Yeah, just look at that view. There's 800 feet. Let's go ahead and turn and intercept the GPS course. We can engage the autopilot. And we can go ahead and turn the landing light off. And let's also just go ahead and zoom out on the map a little bit here. So we may be, I mean, we're still climbing, but we may have some high terrain up ahead here that we may have to, what we call deviate off course to avoid. What we actually could do let's set that for there just for now, and I'm actually going to zoom back in on the display just to make sure that that we will be able to pass over it. Because if we stay on where we're at, we should be okay. Now we're going to go ahead and pull back to 95% power. In this plane, once you take off and have sufficient altitude, you pull the power back to about 95%. That red is kind of pulling back some, so I think we are going to be fine on terrain clearance. Just look at that right outside. Wow. And here's the town of Valdez. There's oil fields. There's the airport back there. Just look at the jagged peaks of the mountains. Cordova's on the other side, out kind of back that way. Out over there. And what I'll do is pull the map up and you can see the route. So here's Valdez. Cordova's, it's actually a little further back. Over there. We're basically flying over a couple glaciers here, and then over the Chugach Mountains that lie to the east of Anchorage, and we'll descend, basically be going right down into Merrill Field. Right in the middle of Anchorage. Downtown's going to be right about there. So we should have a really good view on the way in. Of course, this plane doesn't have the performance that the Cirrus does. We can turn that off. But it's still, you know, in its own right, it does pretty well. For a single engine piston plane, and the other thing is the Diamond does not have a turbocharger, and the Cirrus does. But take a look right out there. It's kind of neat. too. And we've started climbing really fast all of a sudden, over 2,000 feet per minute, and I have a feeling it may have to do with some of the lift being generated by passing over the mountains. That probably is what it is. And all of a sudden we're right back down to a 1,000 foot per minute climb. So what can happen is you'll fly through what are called thermals, and those are really important when you're in a glider. Because gliders, of course not having engines, need to find a way to climb to be able to stay airborne, and thermals are generally the best option in terms of finding a lift source to gain altitude. But planes with engines like these can also be affected by some of those. Thermals, updrafts, kind of mountain wave. So when you get into what is called an updraft, the air is rising and it carries you. And when your plane is in a climb, call it a climb setting like this, and you go into an updraft, your rate of climb is going to go way up. It's like an extra little bonus, kind of a boost. I forgot I could go in and turn on the flight tracker. Alright, there we go. And we only have 500 feet to go here. It's 5 Celsius up here at 9,600 feet. Usually in these areas it would be below freezing by now, but I guess not. Alright, and there we are. We ought to cruise altitude at 10,000 feet. We're going to go ahead and pull back on the power. Realistically, we can cruise with the load on the engine as high as 92%. What we would want to do is find a way to turn the RPMs down to about 2100 so it stays at the top of the green. Plane doesn't really have an option to do that, but in this current configuration, it's fine. It's fine as it is. What we'll go ahead and do is go to the range and zoom back out a little bit here. Oh, we should have a pretty nice easy ride over to Merrill-Field. I think we do need to pull back a little bit on the power here. A little bit of turbulence, and we want to be below VNO. So we're actually going to pull back to 75%. Because if we're getting this kind of turbulence, you really don't want to be below, or you really don't want to be above the green, into the yellow. And if it's more than light turbulence, you need to slow down to what is called VO, or VA, which is maneuvering speed, or operating speed. So, if we look right here, operating maneuvering speed, and VA is design maneuvering speed. Okay. VO is kind of a more recent term. When I learned to fly, it was VA. That was 15 years ago, but it kind of changed a little bit. But anyway, above a certain weight, you don't want to be above 113, whereas we're at like 124 right now. And below that weight, you want to be below 108. Or not above, I should say. And if we looked at our airplane weight and balance right now, our total weight right here is 2298. So that falls below this, so we would need to slow to 108 if we get more than light turbulence. If it's just a little light bump here and there, then we're fine where we're at, but if it gets moderate or worse, and we slow down to 108. Of course, we're a bit slower in this plane than we are in the Cirrus. So our true airspeed is 143, and our ground speed is 139. So we have about a 4 knot headwind component, which isn't bad. Could actually bump a little power up just to stay below the we could probably go realistically to 85%. Not really sure what's going on with my my YouTube thing, but it seems like my chat box, I don't know if it isn't working or what. That says, oh, you have unread chat messages, and then I go and look and there were none. So, I don't know. YouTube's up to something, I think. I don't know, if you actually did send a message and didn't, and I didn't say anything, I didn't see it, I'm sorry for that. Yeah, here at 85% power, we're cruising right below VNO. It's 129 knots, we're at 127, indicated. Okay, Maria, welcome. It isn't just, ghost chat messages, maybe. Maybe you would see, but, if I missed something. Hope not. I take a look around out here. There's actually some terrain that's higher than us. It's these mountain peaks back out over this way. Which, those actually separate the way up the, kind of to the Matanuska River. Out toward the valley by, Gulkana, which is on the Copper River. Kind of these peaks right out here. This is the Matanuska River, and Gulkana is up here. Oh, I actually haven't done any flights in this area. It might be something to try at some point. But anyway, this is Palmer, which is northeast of Anchorage, and east of Wasilla. And this is the Susitna River, which runs up kind of north toward Talkeetna. So all of this area is the Matsu Valley. And it's named because of that Mat for Matanuska and Su for Susitna River. And we're about a third of the way. We're allowed to have a maximum difference of 9 gallons per tank, which is 2/3 of a wing. Of a wing's worth of fuel. But generally, what I prefer to do is do a tank transfer. Once you get down to about a 4 to 5 gallon difference. And the way it works in the Diamond is, unlike the Cirrus, you don't switch between left and right. You only switch to this if there's an emergency. So you leave it set to normal, and then what you'll do is turn this fuel transfer switch on, and basically what it does is pumps fuel from the right-hand tank to the left-hand tank. Because the way the fuel system in the Diamond works is that your engine is fed fuel from the left tank, and your right tank is kind of reserve. The Diamond is quite efficient, so it sips fuel compared to the Cirrus. We are... I'm looking for the... Now here you go, 7.7 gallons per hour. And that's at 85% power. Which is really good. So you don't have to change it often, and you're allowed a large difference between tanks. Basically what you would do is, when you need more fuel in the left tank to feed to the engine, you turn this switch right here, which just pumps fuel from the right into the left. It's very simple. I flew the Diamond. That was the first plane I flew in the sim. I flew this more than in my early days flying it. I flew this more than the Cirrus. Take a look at the glacier right there. That's pretty cool. Oh, and I forgot in this plane. Yeah, you can switch seats. There's the glacier. There's another smaller one. And if you look back that way, yeah. Kinda cool. Well, there you go. So we will get ready to switch tanks here in a little bit. Just because I do like to keep kind of not more than a difference of 4. Probably 4 gallons per side. Or between the sides, I guess I should say. Alright, we're a little less than 60 miles away. Okay, yeah, 58. Let's see if we can get the weather. This is kind of a long stretch, hopefully. Yeah, no, we can't. Okay. We're just under halfway. We may have to pass over some of these mountains, but we may end up having a bit of an interesting descent if we have to like pull the power and drop really quick after we pass the mountains. Because what happens is, these are the Chugach Mountains, and then when the mountains are kind of at their end, there's the valley and there's the airport. So I have a feeling we might be getting kind of creative with the power. And the tallest of those mountains are still over 7,500 feet that we'll be flying over, so we'll need to stay at really above 8,000 until I would say we get to that's from Anchorage International. Let's give another 4 miles. Yeah, so probably not even 20 miles away. Yeah, right about here are the mountains that we'll be looking for. And then we have just that short amount of time to descend, probably below 8,000 feet. That's pretty out that way. It's actually very pretty. And you look back up that way, there's a ton of snowy mountains. It's kind of neat. Well, we're right at the halfway point here. Coming into, or between Valdez and Merrill-Field. still 52 miles away and still can't pick it up. Alright, we're gonna cheat. We're gonna click on the airport on the map because the weather will come up there. 2253 Zulu, 290 at 6, 10 miles visibility, few clouds at 2518 Celsius, 30.21. So because we're halfway there, we'll go ahead and, are we within 50 miles? Now 50.6. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and turn that down to 30.21. Cause us to climb about 100 feet. And there we are. Now take a look at that right here. That's pretty neat. Get that nice tall mountain peak right there. And that is covered up by text. Not entirely sure which one that is. Let's actually grab this and zoom in on the map. It is lower than us. Oh, you know what? It's covered up by text on the chart. Well, that explains it. We might be able to go to the TAC chart and see. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't showing up for whatever reason. It's a pretty impressive view, though. Yeah, so I've got a feeling it may get a little bumpy over here, over the Chugach Mountains. Look down that way, though. That there is... Oh, yeah, okay. Well, that's Inner Lake George, and there is the lake right there, and then there's the what they call the Nick Glacier, which is part of what feeds into, I believe, is it the Nick River, which feeds into the Nick arm of the Cook Inlet. So that kind of all starts down here, then there's a river, and then where the Cook Inlet splits at Anchorage, you have the Nick arm, which goes to the northeast, and the Turnagain arm, which goes to the southeast. And the one to the northeast is fed by all of this, I guess. It's my understanding. Low fuel, yep. Alright, time to go ahead and turn that on. And what'll happen is, now that this switch is on, this will go up and the right will go down. And you have a couple options. You can switch it off when they're equal, or you can let the right go lower and let it kind of feed the left a little extra, and then by the time you descend and land, it'll be closer to equal. Either way, doesn't really make much of a difference as long as you stay within the limits, which is 9-gallon difference between the two tanks, which that's pretty tough to do. Or pretty tough not to do in this airplane. Especially when we only were half loaded with fuel. We're going to pull back the power a little bit there. So we started speeding up a little bit into the yellow caution zone above VNO. So VNO is that speed that you're really not supposed to go above, except in smooth air and only with caution, which would be if you have to do some sort of a high-speed descent. And there are scenarios where that would be appropriate, but you have to really be careful, because if you hit any rough air or turbulence and you're in the yellow, you could cause some damage to the airframe. That could include bending some sort of a part of the plane, bend an elevator or an aileron or a flap. In about 13 minutes away from the airport. And we're about 70% of the way there. So, of course, all of these here are the Chugach Mountains. Out down that way is the Kenai Peninsula. And out up that way, oh, you can see Denali in the background. Just way off in the distance, but it's right here. There's Denali. All of these are part of the Alaska Range on that side. The ones closer in up this direction is, these are the Talkeetna Mountains. Which they're kind of connected, but they're separate from the Alaska Range, per se. And yeah, you can see the neck arm here, down below that valley. And the Matsu Valley, kind of right up here. This river valley right here is, I believe... Now, you know what? Maybe it isn't. I was thinking that might be... I'm not actually 100% sure if it is or not. I was thinking it was one of the rivers that leads down here. What a view, though. That's pretty. Well, you know what? And I think that is actually... That is the... What is the lake called? Eklutna Lake? I think. And the river that leads down to that. Yeah, but all these mountains right here is something pretty for sure. Alright, with the amount of fuel we need to burn remaining when we cut the power, I'm good to go ahead and turn the tank transfer off. Basically flying almost directly into the runway. If we take 2.5, which is the longer one, and the wind will be coming kind of like this, I think. So we'll have a quartering right headwind. Yeah, and that tells us where our top of descent would be. But no, that's got us circling around, so what we're actually gonna do, whoops. Okay, no, that's not quite right there. What we'll actually do, though, is we can go ahead and set our heading to where we're at right now. And then we can actually just come in here, activate vector to final, and we'll turn and fly it. We're past the highest peaks that was back here. Look at that. Let's grab a quick view outside. Just look at that. Those jagged peaks kind of come down and then they start settling down over here. And you just fly in that valley, and here's the city of Anchorage, right here at the end of the mountains. And we are going to go ahead and cut the power. Now let's try that again. And we can actually set that 125. And we can put some power in if we need to. That's just setting us kind of up on a steep descent into Anchorage. Zach, what's going on, man? When are you gonna fly the Shore Cancer? Oh, I don't know. That's a good one, though. Yeah, so the nickel arm splits up here. We saw the glacier that kind of feeds that a bit. And then the turn again arm comes that way, and that's what separates the Chugach Mountains and Anchorage from the Kenai Peninsula back that way. Denali is still visible up in the distance. Talkeetna kind of sits a little further up here. And then, of course, the interior is up on the, basically the backside of all of those mountains. And our descent rate is actually steeper than is needed. So what we're going to do is just put a little bit of power in, kind of stabilize the descent rate. Or not stabilize it, but to slow it. It's the more appropriate word. We'll take a little bit of power out. Tiny boost of power there. Alright, on the descent we can actually go ahead and turn the pitot heat off. We're going fast enough. Or, we've descended low enough. So we're good. What we'll need to do at some point is turn the FLC off. And we'll just have to get below the flap speed. Half flaps you can go 110 and 98 for full flaps. We'll fly this plane approach speed about 65 to 70. And yeah, here we are down below 5,000 feet. This is Elmendorf Air Force Base right here, and that's Anchorage International. And I'm not really quite picking Merrill Field up yet. Oh, I see it now. You can see the two flashing lights there. Those are what are called reels, runway end identifier lights. And those just basically help you identify where the runway is, especially if you're in a busy area where there might be streets that maybe look like a runway, streets and street lights, or there might be, for example, a taxiway or a long extended ramp that may make finding the runway a little bit confusing or difficult. What is my payload? It's very light today. Just a pilot and some, I put 100 or 110 pounds of baggage just for weight and balance. But here we go, we're gonna get a beautiful view here. And we're just keeping an eye on terrain. We've had no clearance issues so far. Everything that we've flown over has been in the green or black. If it does go into the yellow, we just need to make sure that we stay 500 feet above it, because yellow is less than 1,000. Overpopulated areas like this, though, we need to stay at 1,000 above it, except on approach. Alright, I'm gonna do here. Let's turn. Yeah, FLC is off. And I'm going to go ahead and disengage the autopilot. And I'm going to try to level the plane off a little bit here. Now, we may have been approaching a little bit too steep. But when we can get below 110... no, I think we're going to be good here. There's 110, we can go half. When we get below 98, we can go full. We're going to turn the landing light on. Final checklist here is fuel pumps on, parking brake is confirmed released, and yeah, we're good otherwise. It's very simple. We're getting pushed a little off course here. Just trying to get slowed down just enough to 98, we can go full flaps. There we go. Full flaps. Now we'll control our descent rate with power. And we're basically going to follow this magenta diamond, try to keep it in the center. But we're looking pretty good. Oh, look at the gorgeous view of downtown. We're a little bit low, so we're just going to level off here. Add a little bit of power. A little more power. We're actually coming behind the power curve a little bit. That's a bit better. We can take that back out. So we get to come over a big parking lot. Let's take the power out. We want to try to get down to about 70 knots. We're pretty good on path. We're maybe just a tiny bit low. We're doing okay though. About 200 feet to go. We're looking good. Little power. Minus 68, not bad. Lower the nose. And can we make this next turn? Yeah. Alright, flaps up. And we will make that turn, in fact. Nice. Alright, landing light off, we can turn the taxi light on. Fuel pump off. Trim, and we are good to start taxiing into parking. Just beware all the trucks. Watch for building clearance, because if you clip a wingtip into a building, a hangar, another structure, something like that, it will trigger a collision mechanic in the game, and it'll end your flight, unlike if like a vehicle drives through you or something. Is that like a service road or something? I don't know. Oh, hello, look at this. Wee. Look at all these vehicles. Alright, we can go ahead and park right over here. Tiny bit misaligned here. Just hold the brakes. Just kind of punch them to turn. There we go, we're better up aligned. We'll taxi forward. Stop kind of right. A little bit forward of the T. Parking brake is set. Okay. Turn the taxi light off. Here we are on the ground at Merrill Field. Flaps are up. Parking brake is set. Trim takeoff. Cut the avionics. Engine master off. 47-minute flight. That was pretty close. I think I said 45, 46. It's not bad. Engine is stopped. All good there. We can turn the nav lights and strobe lights off. Avionics. All of those switches are off. And all that we have to do is cut the electric master. Alright folks, well welcome to Merrill-Field, Alaska. Yeah, Merrill-Field and Anchorage, Alaska. Oh man. Just look at all of the vehicles just running all over the place here. There's more cars and buses and vans and trucks than planes here, it seems like. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the flight from Valdez to here. And thanks for flying with me, and I hope to catch you aboard on the next one. And, as always, until then, take care. Stay safe. I hear vehicles in every direction. Lovely view. Thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. This is some absolutely beautiful scenery out here. So yeah, take care, stay safe. And we'll see ya.